Bong was 24 years old, and everyone who knew her in real life agreed on one thing. She was just an ordinary girl. She was not ugly, but she was not also the kind of girl that people would turn their heads twice to admire. She lived in New York with her Aunt Mama Innie, who sold smoked fish in the market and complained daily about how expensive everything had become. Their small bungalow had a zinc roof that rattled whenever rain poured. And Bong's room was no bigger than a store with on mirror hanging on the wall that always reminded her of her pimples, her acne scars, and the small gap between her teeth that she hated so much. However, online was a goddess. With just one tape on a filter app, her skin would turn flawless like glass. Her nose would become sharp like a pencil. Her cheeks would glow. Her eyes would sparkle. And her waist would look smaller than the neck of a bottle. She would spend hours diddying her pictures until she looked like the kind of model that belonged in Lagos billboards. By the time she posted them on Instagram with captions like "soft life only" or "my piece is expensive," the comments would flood in from men and women alike, telling her how beautiful she was. "Black Barbie, you're too fine." One follower would comment, "Queen, you're the future." Another would add even strangers she didn't know would send her direct messages begging for her attention. Bong loved those comments because they gave her the confidence she never had in real life. In the house, Mama Innie would complain that she was lazy and always pressing phone instead of helping with the fish business. Around her, women her age were getting married or building businesses, but she was still depending on her aunt for Fufu money. Well, online, she was untouchable. Nobody saw the small plastic chair she sat on while taking selfies. Nobody smelled the Fufu she had been pounding in the backyard. Nobody heard Mama In's voice shouting, "I bang, remove that pot from fire before it burns again." So her babby life was intact. One evening, as she was lying on her bed scrolling through comments, she received a message that made her heart skip. It was from a man named Ola. His profile picture showed a tall, handsome young man in a clean white shirt standing beside a shiny car. She clicked his page and almost dropped her phone. He was not just anybody. He worked in an oil company in Patakat, had traveled often, posted pictures in hotels and restaurants, and he even had pictures standing inside airports with captions like "another deal closed." On to the next one. Allah's message to her was simple but direct. "Hi, beautiful. I love the way you carry yourself. Can we be friends?" Bong's chest warmed immediately. She took a screenshot of the message and ran to show her friend, who lived 2 streets away. Oi company man has messaged me." Looked at the picture and exclaimed, "Ah, this one is fine. No, he even looks serious. Don't play with this chance." Bong's fingers shook as she typed her reply. "Hello, dear. Thank you for the compliments. Yes, we can be friends." And from that day, the messages never stopped. Ola would send her good morning notes, pictures of his lunch, and voice notes saying, "I hope you are eating well, my queen." He told her he was tired of fake women and wanted a real own. And Imalong melted every time he said it. She told him small truths mixed with plenty exaggerations. She didn't say she lived in Lekki. She was not that careless, but she told him she rented her own apartment in Uyo and ran Asmal beauty business. In reality, she was living in her aunt's house. But whenever they did video call, she made sure to set her camera properly in the own corner of her room that looked neat with a flower sticker on the wall to make it appear fancy. She would put full makeup on and then use a soft light Froman app on her phone to hide her scars. She practiced her smiles in front of the mirror before picking his calls. Whenever he asked her what she ate, she would laugh and say, "I'm a pizza and pasta kind of girl. I don't really like heavy food like fufu." Meanwhile, she'd just finished swallowing a mountain of fufu and egg soup in the backyard with her bare hands. Mama Innie noticed how often she smiled at her phone nowadays. And one evening, she asked her, "I Bong, who is keeping you awake till midnight? Every day you are pressing phone and laughing like a mad person. If you like, don't go and find a job. When your battery dies, you will know reality." But Bong only grinned and said, "Don't worry, very soon I will shock you." And truly in her mind, she believed her life was about to change. Allah was kind, generous with words and rich. She told herself, "If I play my cards well, this man will marry me and I will leave this house. No more pounding fufu and no more being called lazy. I will finally live the life I post in line." And so Bong was now floating around the house like someone who had swallowed helium. She sang while sweeping, smiled while pounding Pepe, and she even obeyed Mama Innie without argument. The neighbors noticed the change and asked, "Imalong, what happened? Did you finally get a job?" But she only laughed mysteriously and said, "God has remembered me." Ola was different from all the boys who used to disturb her inbox with high angle and send me your picture. He typed full sentences and showed genuine concern about her. One night, he sent her a voice note that made her press the phone to her chest. Bong. I don't know why, but talking to you feels refreshing in this world full of pretenders. You are real. I can feel your heart. I must see you soon. Bong almost screamed. She wanted to shout, if only you knew how fake my face is. But instead, she tapped carefully. I feel the same way, Ola. Meeting you will be my greatest joy. Ola wasn't stingy either. After 2 weeks of meeting, he sent her a surprise 50,000 naira. The alert nearly made her faint. She had never seen that much money at once in her account before. Queen, use this to buy yourself something nice, he texted. Imalong screamed, jumped on the bed, and danced. Mama Ini rushed in worried. What killed my daughter? Bong shoved the phone in her face. At the alert, 50,000. Mama Ini blinked like someone in shock. Where did it come from? Bong, don't let me hear that you joined Yahoo. No, Auntie, it is. Has said I should spoil myself. Mama Ini sighed heavily and muttered. These days men don't give without reason. Be very careful. But in her heart, she was calculating how much fish she could buy if she borrowed the money. Well, the money came at a cost, though Ola began to ask deeper questions. So where exactly do you live in you? What do you do every day? What's your favorite meal? Emor panicked. She could not tell him the full truth that she was living in her aunt's house, cooking fufu daily and waiting for destiny to shine. Instead, she crafted half-truths. I live in Shelter Africa Minga, part of Uyo, that sounded classy, even though she lived very far from it. I run a small beauty business, she added, without explaining that the business only existed in her Instagram captions. As for food, I like light meals, salads, pasta, grilled fish, pizza. I'm not really a swallow person. Meanwhile, just that evening, Imalong had devolved 5 wraps of fufu with Ed Kai Kong soup until her stomach begged for mercy. Unfortunately, the drama escalated when Ola suddenly said, I'll be coming soon. We are opening a new branch here and I'll stay for a week. This is the perfect chance to see you in person. Imung nearly dropped her phone. She started pacing the room like a restless goat. Meeting Ola was her dream, but how would she keep her secrets? She had no saloon, no fancy apartment, and no salad lifestyle. She was scared of being exposed, but she couldn't say no either. On their next phone call, she still pretended. Ola, that's wonderful. I can't wait to see you. He beamed. Good. I will book us dinner at a 5-star hotel. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. Just come looking like the queen that you are. After the calendared, immortal Bunk collapsed on the bed sweating. Looking like a queen. Oh God, how will I do it? Even the only wig I have is already tired. If breeze blows, it will fly. Her friend came over when she heard the news. But instead of comforting her, she laughed until her stomach hurts. So the salad life you've been forming has now come to meet you face to face. You better start packaging yourself full, because if that man sees you eating fufu with 2 hands, he will just faint. Immortal Bong buried her face in her pillow and groaned. This love is sweet online, but bitter offline. God help me. That night she didn't sleep. She kept scrolling through her pictures, comparing the filtered beauty in Instagram with the raw reflection in her mirror. She could not even breathe without hearing his voice echoing in her head. Just come looking like the queen that you are. Queen, I beg. Which queen? She stared at her reflection and muttered, If this is the queen, huh? Ippity the kingdom. The following morning, she stormed into MM's house like a soldier on an emergency assignment. We are finished, she announced. Who was spreading clothes on the line looked up. We did honor proposed to both of us. Imalong ignored her sarcasm. It's next week now. This next week I must look like my pictures. Help me. Bustinto laughter. You mean you must look like your filters, rather. My dear, unless you enter bleach, buy ring light and carry it everywhere, you are finished. But Bong was not joking, and she was not going to accept defeat. So, she pulled out a notebook she had labeled Project Packaging and began listing tasks as if she was planning a presidential inauguration. Number 1, buy new wig. Number 2, do facials to clean pimples. Number 3, rent clothes from boutique. Number 4, borrow handbag from Number 5, staff for 1 week to look slimmer. Number 6, pray Ola's eyes are not too sharp. Looked over her shoulder and giggled. Ah, you are serious. So but this your number 5 starving lie. It will not work. You that cannot resist fufu for 1 day. You will just faint on the road now, in long haste. It is better to faint than for to see me looking round like melon. I must suffer small now to enjoy later, and so the madness began. In more Bong-rated boutiques around town, pretending she wanted to test dresses for an event. She borrowed high heels from another friend, insisting, "I will return it after my photo shoot." She even took a small loan from a Shillok woman in the market to buy a human hair wig that cost more than her aunt's monthly fish sales. Her Aunt Mama Innie almost collapsed when she saw the price tag. "Imo, are you mad? You're buying wig of 70,000 naira when you cannot even contribute to house rent. Are you the one marrying Ola, or he's marrying you?" Imung pleaded, and see, don't worry, investment must be made before harvest comes. But Mama Inna wagged her finger. "If you like, invest until they arrest you. One day the truth will come out. You cannot use powder to cover your true character forever." Meanwhile, Imma Bong forced herself into a crash diet. She announced to everyone who cared to listen that she would no longer eat heavy food. Her breakfast was cucumber, lunch was 1 apple, and dinner was 1 miserable digestive biscuit like that. However, when midnight came, her stomach would roar like a generator, and she would sneak into the kitchen, mold out fufu, and swallow it in the dark. Caught her own night and bust out laughing. "So this is your slimming program. Queen by day, fufu warrior by night." Imma Long pressed a finger to her lips and whispered furiously, "Shifa calls and hears me swallowing fufu. I am finished." By Friday, Imbong's room looked like a war camp. Wigs, clothes, shoes, creams, and makeup kits were scattered everywhere. She also practiced walking in heels, but because she was not used to them, she staggered like a wounded goat. She watched YouTube videos on how to contour her nose to look sharper, and she even hired a photographer to take filtered candid pictures of her sipping juice in a rented hotel lounge so that she could keep feeding Ola the illusion of her soft life. The pressure nearly drove her mad. At one point, she collapsed on herb sweating and muttered to herself, "Why did I even start this lie? Why did I not just say I love Fufu and live in Mama's house? Now see me suffering like a slave." But whenever Ola sent her a sweet message, her determination returned. "My queen, I cannot wait to hold your hands and look into your eyes," she would reply with trembling hands. "Me too, the thought of you makes my heart beat faster." And then our last message came on a Tuesday afternoon. "My queen, I checked into Monty Suits. Can I see you this evening?" Bong nearly dropped her phone into the pot of soup she was staring for. She screamed so loudly that her aunt rushed in with fish still on her hands. "What killed you, Imbong?" Imbong's lips trembled. "Hey, sure, Ola is here in Monty suit." Mama Innie gave her one long look and said, "Good. Now we will see if Instagram filters can still save you." "My dear, remember love is not photo editing." Then she walked out, leaving shaking like fufu on fire. She called immediately. Emergency. "He wants to see me this evening." "This evening?" "No, which means I only have 3 hours to transform." Lawed so hard that she almost fell off her stool. "Congratulations. The exam you've been avoiding since jam has finally come. Better start revising your notes." So by evening, after layers off foundation, contour, lashes, and wig straightening, Imor Bong looked like an expensive mannequin. She borrowed MM's golden bag and squeezed her feet into the 5-in heels that had been tormenting her all week. She could barely walk, but she told herself, "Endure, my dear. Endure for love." At exactly 7:30 p.m., she entered the hotel lobby. Ola was already waiting, dressed in a clean shirt and jeans with his perfume spreading like gospel. When his eyes fell on her, he smiled, but his brows twitched slightly, like someone trying to compare 2 pictures. "You look different," he said slowly as he stood to give her a hug. Immortal Bong laughed nervously. "Difference, good or different bad?" Ha smiled again. "Difference, natural?" Imong almost collapsed. "Natural?" After painting my face like a duplex, but she smiled wider. I take that as a compliment. They sat at the table and Ola ordered pizza, chicken wings, and salad. Imma Bong's heart sank. She had practiced all week, but one slice of pizza still made her mouth twist like bitter leaf. She poked at it politely and chilled slowly as Ola talked about his work. Then he paused and observed her. "You are so quiet. Is anything the matter?" Immo giggled nervously. "No, I just like to eat like a lady." However, the real problem began when a waiter walked past carrying steaming plates of fufu and ang soup to another table. The aroma slapped Imob's nose like a thunderbolt. Her eyes widened, and before she could stop herself, she leaned slightly, sniffing the air like a dog that had just caught the sense of bone. Ola noticed and chuckled. "Do you want fufu instead?" Imalong sat upright quickly. No, fufu. Me? I don't even eat heavy food at night. I'm a clean eater." But her stomach betrayed her with a loud growl that made the waiter turn. Ola laughed and shook his head. "Don't worry, I like women who eat." "Order what you want." But Bang stubbornly refused and continued nibbling salad leaves as if they were poison. However, later that night, after he dropped her along the estate she pointed at and promised to see her the next day, Hunger overpowered her shame. She sneaked to a roadside booker, sat with reckless abandon, and devoid 4 wraps of fufu with okra soup, licking her fingers joyfully. Unfortunately, her village people had stamped her fate, because as she raised the last ball of fufu to her mouth, she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Im along." She froze and held the fufu in the air like a guilty child. Bong slowly turned and almost vanished when she saw Ola standing there, staring at her in disbelief. His eyes moved from her belly to her oily fingers to the mountain of fufu disappearing on her plates. "Allah," she whispered. "I can explain." Ola burst into laughter so loud that even the booker owner shouted, "Customer beg, keep it down." He wiped his eyes and shook his head. "Queen, this is the most beautiful unmasking I have ever seen, from pizza girl to fufu champion." Bong wanted the ground to open up and swallow her. She dropped the fufu but pulled out his phone and took a short video of her. "Don't hide, though. This is the real you, and honestly, I like it better." Immortal Bong stared at him speechless to turn between shame and indigestion. She had packaged so much, but yes, she was exposed by soup and swallow. That night as she lay in bed, she prayed into her pillow. "Lord, I have been disgraced. If this man doesn't run away tomorrow, it will be a miracle." The next day, tried to avoid Ola. She didn't answer his calls in the morning, and she didn't even reply to his text. She just sat in her room sulking. Came over and found her lying face down on the bed. "What happened? Did he propose or did he run?" Along groaned into her pillow. He caught me. I was in the booker eating fufu carelessly. He lawed at me. He laughed like thunder. Slapped her thigh and bust into laughter. "Hey, so after all your packaging, Fufu has finally revealed you. A queen undone by Fufu." Along buried her face deeper. "Don't laugh at me. My reputation is finished." However, Allah didn't disappear immediately. That afternoon, he sent her a message. "Let's meet tonight. We need to talk properly, no pretense, just you and me." Bong's stomach turned. She almost replied, "No thank you." But curiosity won. She tried to convince herself that maybe he was still interested and maybe he wanted to forgive her. She told Mum, who raised her bros, "Go now, but prepare yourself. Oh, if he insults you, hold your tears. You will cry at home, not in public." That evening, they met again, not in a hotel, but at a small open-air garden where people drank, and gossiped. Immortal Bong arrived looking simple in jeans and blouse without heavy makeup, just lip gloss. She had decided, let them see the real me. If he doesn't like it, then I'm done. Ola looked at her quietly when she arrived. Then he smiled. "This is better. At least I can see your real face." But the peace didn't last after a few minutes of small talk. He leaned forward. "Imab, why did you lead on me? Why pretend you don't eat fufu when clearly you love it more than air? Why act like you run a business when you don't? Why show me hotel pictures when you don't even own a room?" Imong's eyes became teary. "Because I was afraid. I thought you wouldn't want me if you saw the real me. I thought my life was too ordinary. I wanted to be perfect." Her voice broke off and she started crying. Unfortunately, the garden was full of people and some of them had already noticed the argument. A group of young men sitting at a nearby table pulled out their phones and whispered, "Is that not the Instagram Barbie? Black Barbie, she's crying. Oh, record it. Record it." One man zoomed in just as Ola's voice rose in Bong. "You deceived me. Do you know how embarrassing it is to tell my friends about my Barbie queen only to find you eating fufu greedily at a roadside booker?" The onlookers gasped, then burst into laughter. Someone shouted, "So this is Fufu baby now, Shichai." Bong felt utterly mortified. She covered her face with her hands. "Please stop. People are looking." But it was too late. The phones kept recording and within hours the videos hit social media. One caption read, "From Black Barbie to Fufu Queen. Catfisher caught in Uo." The comment section exploded. "Chai now Fufu betray her destiny. Even fit save this. One at least she's eaten in this Nigerian economy with." Confidence in Bong's followers dropped. Overnight, and brands that had promised her free clothes stopped replying. Her inbox was flooded. With mockery, one message read, "Madame Filter how much is Fufu by Paint Rubber?" One said, "Next time at least if the Fufu with dignity back at home." Mama Ini didn't spare either. She waved a fishbone in her face and said, "Did I not warn you? Fake life is like a wrapper with no knots. One tiny breeze and it will open in public." Imol cried for 3 nights straight. Her room felt like a prison and her phone felt like handcuffs. She wanted to delete her account, but she couldn't. Something in her whispered, "Your story is not finished. Shame is not the end. But at that moment, all she could feel was the sting of humiliation. It got worse that for one whole week, Bong could not leave the house. The mocking video of her and the booker eating fufu had spread beyond even her distant cousin in Lagos. Sent her a voice note laughing Bong. So that was forming Black Barbie on Instagram. You are Fufu keen in real life. God is wonderful. Every time she saw herself on someone's WhatsApp status as a meme, she buried her face in her pillow and screamed. The worst part was the betrayer of her own followers. People who once called her goddess now called her swallower of destinies. Mama Ini didn't even help matters at all. Every time she passed her door, she would shake her head and say, if you had spent half the time used to filter your face on learning tailoring or catering, by now you would have been a very big madame. But you chose fake life, and fake life has flocked you publicly. Still, something strange began to happen. After a few days of silence, she noticed that some comments under the viral video were different. Not everyone was mocking her. Some women wrote, "This girl is like me. I also use filter because I hate my skin." Others added, "At least she eats what she loves in private. I am tired of pretending I like pizza when I am dying for swallow." Another comment followed, "Why is no one even saying anything about the man who took the video as if she committed a crime? I beg shift jar, he's not even worth it." Those comments stirred something inside her. And then one evening, she summoned her courage, opened Instagram, and typed, "Yes, I am the girl in the video. Yes, I love fufu, and yes, I used filters because I thought I wasn't clean enough. But no more lies. This is me, my scars, my flaws, fufu and all. If you want perfect, please unfollow me. But if you want real, then stay." She posted it with an unfiltered selfie of her face with all the pimples visible, her natural gap tooth showing, and her coils in its natural form. She trembled after pressing post, but instead of insult, honest comment began to pour in. "Wow, finally someone real. You're beautiful like this, Jaw. Thanks for being honest. We need more of this." Her followers count dropped sharply, but the ones who stayed were genuine. And from then on, she began posting simple videos showing how she cooked ang soup, how she tied her hair into a bun from market, how she balanced small self-esteem struggles with humor, and to her surprise, those videos gained more shares than heredited glamour shots ever did. Meanwhile, Ola reached out again. He asked to meet this time without drama. They met in a restaurant. He looked at her and confessed, "Immortal Bong, I was harsh. I just felt deceived. You made me think you were someone else. Alongside Aid, I know. I was scared you wouldn't like the real me. I just didn't trust myself enough." He nodded slowly. "I like the real you, but trust once broken is not easy to fix." Imol understood. The romance ended there. There was no grand reconciliation and no happy ever after. But for once, she didn't cry. She felt strangely light, as if she had been released from a prison she built with her own hands. And then the unexpected happened 2 weeks later. A local restaurant owner known for his massive plates of swallow sent her a DM. "Madame Fufu Queen, please come and do small adverts for my place. People like you will bring customers. Let them see you enjoying fufu proudly." At first, Imung hesitated. Then she laughed. The same fufu that disgraced her was now opening doors. She agreed, recorded a funny video of her eating fufu, and it went viral again, but this time in her favor. One night, as she and Mama Ini sat outside eating together, Mama Ini shook her head. "So after all this wajala, it is fufu that brought you real fame. Imong your story will be used to warn other girls." Imong laughed and dipped her hand into the soup. "Yes, her auntie, but at least this time it is the truth. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comments section. Give the story a thumbs up and share the story out with your loved ones. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way, bye.